The Dental Download Podcast is your source for insight into dental school, conversations with dentists, specialists, and leaders in the industry. With new episodes every Monday morning, I'm your host, Haley Schultz. Let's get into this week's episode. So this week we're just going to be doing another solo episode, and it's all going to be about dental school favorites. Some of them are my favorites. Some of them are favorites of my friends at other dental schools through social media or friends at my own dental school. But it's topics from studying, podcasts, books, snacks, energy, scrubs, mental and physical health, anything that we kind of use in our routine that is essential or some of our favorite things during dental school. Quickly, I'll do a little recap of this past week for you all, and then we'll get into the episode. But I've been doing a lot of assisting as usual. I assisted twice this week and also had radiology rotation, and I've been pretty busy with student organizations as well. I had a really great dinner with Aspen Dental, one of the representatives. We went to Aventura, if you're familiar, in Ann Arbor. It's a really fun tapas restaurant, and it was with some of the ASDA core executive board. For ASDA, I'm the Lunch and Learn coordinator on the core board, and then just for our overall chapter, I'm also the pre-dental liaison for now. If anyone's listening and wants to mark their calendar and is interested in UMich, we're planning on hosting our pre-dental day over Zoom this summer on July 31st, a Saturday. It'll be in the morning through the early afternoon, so mark your calendars, and whenever that comes to fruition and gets approved by the school and everything, I'll definitely post the flyer and the sign-up link on my own Instagram at Haley Schultz Dental, so you could all sign up there. But it's a really great way to get a feel for what my dental school is like, and I know I loved going to those as pre-dental because it really just motivated me to keep studying, keep working towards my goals, and it also looks really great on your application to whatever school the event is for because it shows your early interest in their program. But that was kind of a side note. That was another thing I'd been working on planning this week and also related to that ASDA position, which is why I thought of it. And in addition to those ASDA positions for our schools chapter, I'm also on our District 6 board. So for that, I'm the design specialist and education and communications director. So the website, social media, and also overseeing a semester newsletter that goes out. That would be 3 times a year, I think, is our goal. But that's just some little recaps about this week. The assisting was pretty straightforward. One was just a cleaning, but it was for someone I was actually friends with, which was fun. The provider that I was assisting is one of my friends from high school, and then the patient we also both mutually know. So that was pretty cool to get to see everybody all together again. And then the next day I assisted before radiology rotation. It was a gold crown delivery. So I hadn't really seen anything about gold crowns while I was shadowing as a pre-dental student, so it was exciting to get to see that in dental school. And this past week, not too much happened. Like I said, just a lot of extracurricular stuff and kind of getting together after Memorial Day weekend. But next week, I'm going to have 2 exams, an exam on Monday and then a final for our respiratory system class on Friday. So this past week, I was kind of studying for that, and next week is going to be really heavy studying and preparing for that final because I didn't do too well on the midterm, so I really need to do well on that final. That way I can end up passing my respiratory system class. I think that's everything for a recap for this week, though, so we're going to get into the episode in just a minute. Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily and then distribute it everywhere and even earn money, all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters. Here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right away from your phone or computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify, but also everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available, and you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. Did I mention it is totally free, no catch? I've been using Spotify for Podcasters since the very beginning of my show, and now we're nearing our 200th episode, so I can definitely say it's an easy platform, and I've really loved using it. So be sure to download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. All All right, so getting right into the favorites, I'm going to start off with books and podcasts. So for podcasts, some of these are ones that I like, and some of them were ones recommended by dental school peers, but one would be Shared Practices, The Dentalpreneur, Dental Nachos with Paul Goodman, and The Business of Drilling. So those are ones you can check out if you are interested in other dental podcasts. And some books, these are just a couple. There's a ton of books that are kind of related to dentistry and self-improvement that I really like, that maybe I can make a full episode about one day once I've thoroughly read them all. But two books that I wanted to throw in here are The White Coat Investor, specifically the one about student loans, and then also How to Buy a Dental Practice by Brian Hanks. Those are really, really great ones to start off with. How to Buy a Dental Practice probably isn't super relevant until you're at least in dental school, but at that point it's good to start reading it and get an idea of what your timeline is going to look like upon graduating. And then for favorites for snacks or for getting energy, tons of people said coffee. Of course, we love coffee. I just started using this, what is it called? I think it's called like Skinny Girl Sweetener is the brand, and I got it from Home Goods, but it's really great because it's 0 calories and they have a bunch of flavors, and it's a syrup, so it doesn't really change the consistency or anything of your coffee. It just adds flavor, so I really like the mocha flavor, so I'm going to throw that personal recommendation in there. And then also I'm a big fan of Starbucks refreshers as well as coffee, but that is just a me thing, I think. And then for energy drinks, I don't really drink energy drinks, but other people love Alani Nu. People love Celsius. My roommates and classmates really like Red Bull and Monster. Again, not the best for your teeth, but they are essential if you need to get a lot of studying done sometimes. And then a snack that I really like are these Zone Perfect brand protein bars, and my favorite flavor and the only one that I eat is Fudge Graham. I order them in bulk off of Amazon or get them from Costco. And then I snack on a lot of fruit as well, and also just like toast. I know that's very simple, but those are my favorite things that I pretty much eat every single day. And then another favorite that I thought we could talk about is Scrubs brands. So I have a whole video on my YouTube channel, which is just my name, Haley Schultz, where I'm comparing scrub brands. But I think the overall favorite that you're going to hear from dental students is, of course, the brand Figs. But also I think Mediclo is up and coming, and they're really my favorite. If you do want to use my code, it's Haley S, so HALEYS. And that gives you 15% off on Mediclo. And I'm also doing a giveaway with them right now on my Instagram, again, just at Haley Schultz Dental. That's open until the Wednesday after this podcast goes up if you want a chance to win some gift cards for their scrubs. But going back, another great website, though, if you don't want to spend as much money on scrubs that still has really good brands, is Uniform Advantage. They have a bunch of different scrub brands on there, but they're not so luxury. They're more just like real business, getting down to the grit of things. And then another brand that I've worked with a little bit and communicated with is Medgear, and some of my classmates in my dental school really enjoy the brand Medgear as well. So for studying, I thought this could be a really important topic to include for favorites, of course, because that's why we're in dental school, is to study and learn and become great clinicians. In the future, when I get more clinical experience, I definitely want to do some episodes about like best tips I've learned about clinic, or even like best way to be a helpful assistant in dental school, things like that. But for now, studying related tips and favorites are what I can pass along to you, being that I'm just starting my second year. So again, some of these are from other dental students and some are from me, but a lot of people love Anki. Some people swear by Anki, live by Anki. It's just a digital platform that does flashcards, but it's a lot more in depth than that, but that's the best way to summarize it. I personally tried Anki out my first semester and then stopped using it because it is quite a learning curve to understand how to make the cards efficiently and how to use like image occlusion and different features that actually make them helpful. But for me, it was kind of just overloading my laptop, and also I never really learned how to use it, so it wasn't too helpful. I have Quizlet Plus, so it's like the paid for version because they had a promo for $10 for the whole year. It's not too different. I think normal Quizlet is totally fine, but it does get rid of the ads, which has actually been really helpful because it limits a lot of distraction in online shopping. So I'm a fan of Quizlet Plus for students. Another studying thing that a lot of people love, including myself, is a whiteboard. I have a little mini one that fits in my backpack so I can kind of take it wherever to study, but I also really like using the whiteboards at different study rooms on campus like the library. And it's really great for writing out flowcharts for different systems in your science classes, or making graphs. Or something else that I had on this list is being able to teach others is a really great studying technique, and using a whiteboard is a great way to do that. So whether there actually are other people around or not, just being able to explain a concept out loud, even if you're alone in your room, and pretending like you're teaching someone is a really great way to test if you actually understand something and see if you can understand how the core concepts of a specific topic connect. Something else that's been essential for me with studying in dental school is shared study guides. So our classmates, usually different people, will make study guides or Quizlets, and we just share them in our Slack platform. And I really sometimes don't have it in me to finish every single part of every single lecture. So knowing that I have that study guide that covers the most important topics or explains it in a nice way is always a really great thing for me to rely on when I am preparing for exams. Sometimes I'm making them myself, but a lot of times I'm just using ones that are passed down from older grades or that are from my classmates. Something else that some of our lectures provide, or that I even created depending on the class, is a transcript. So it's word for word everything that the professor said during that lecture. And that's like the most helpful thing, because it's pretty much like a study guide or like a textbook, and that way you don't miss any details. Some of our professors just put like graphs or just images on a slide and then talk at you for an hour. So if you don't have the actual words that they're saying, it's really hard to make sure you don't miss anything important. So for any classes that don't have text on their slides, we usually try to come together as a class and come up with some form of a transcript. That way we can make sure we're not missing any content. Something else that people recommended is colored paper, or colored paper even on the iPad. So if you're a Notability or something, you can change your background paper. I know I would do this in undergrad when I was studying for finals. If it was finals time, I would change to like black paper and use like neon colors or something, just to switch a little lever in my brain, making me think differently. And then another dental student said that they like to use actual paper, just like printer paper that's colored, when they're doing their different flowcharts or diagrams during their studying. Something that probably doesn't come as a surprise at all, but I really couldn't imagine life without my iPad. I absolutely love my iPad. I got it during my senior year of undergrad. I have the iPad Air, and it's my favorite thing ever. Our dental school provided us with an 8th generation normal iPad, but I don't actually use that one because my iPad Air is just a little bit higher quality. But your dental school might provide you with one, which would be awesome. But definitely iPad with the Apple Pencil I think is so great. That's where I do like all of my daily planning and to-do lists, and that's where I have all of my like PowerPoints and stuff uploaded that I read through when I'm studying, and I can just highlight little things, and you can easily import images or graphs or make graphs. And I do a lot of our assignments on there if they have you draw out different things and then like upload a copy. I just can't speak highly enough about how much my iPad helps me with school. Another thing for the iPad is whatever note-taking apps we use. I personally use Notability. A lot of my classmates also use OneNote, which is free, which is really nice as long as you have the Microsoft suite through your university, which you probably do. And then some people like GoodNotes. I think that's more popular for undergrad, though. I think pretty much everyone in dental school either uses OneNote or Notability. I really like Notability because if we have open book exams, it can search your own handwriting that you wrote on the slides. It can search the text on the slides, whether it's a PowerPoint or a PDF. So it can search anything, and OneNote can only search what is like typed onto a slide, so it can't read the PDF and it can't read your own handwriting. So that's why I think Notability is worth it. It's not too expensive. It's like a one-time fee, and I love it. And I really like that you can organize your notes and everything, and I pretty much have everything saved from all of my science undergrad classes on there from like my senior year that I can reference when I'm going over the same topics in dental school. Another study technique more so that someone really liked is the Pomodoro timer. So that's like 25 minutes studying, 5-minute break, 25 minutes studying, 5-minute break. Or you can do like 45 and 15. It just kind of depends what works for you. I've tried that a little bit, and when I do it, it's so helpful, but I just tend to be too lazy, for lack of a better word, to stick to that. But I think it's a really, really great way to study, especially if you know you're going to be studying for 4, 5, 6 hours in one day. And a huge study thing that I'm sure you've probably heard of a lot is obviously getting in a new setting, getting out of the house. For me, I just feel a lot more revived if I like go and walk to a new location to study on campus. If I go to the library, is usually my biggest thing. We have a health sciences library just for the med and dental students that I really love using. And the last thing is just more of a mindset. But for me, I'm a lot more productive with schoolwork when I have a busier schedule. So if I have a lot of stuff to do and it only leaves me with 1 or 2 days a week to really do a lot of studying, then I'll actually use that time to study. But if I have all week that's like blank and I can study whenever, I actually probably study less because I just keep putting it off. So I think being involved in a couple things in dental school or just making commitments with friends or family, filling up your week a little bit can really help you be more productive in the long run. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is favorites related to mental health and physical health, taking care of ourselves in dental school, because that is so important. You can't be your best self, for your classmates, for your loved ones, for your patients, if you're not taking care of yourself. So as for eating, I love HelloFresh. If you didn't know that, if you don't watch my YouTube videos, I've been using it since January. I think it's so great, and I use the student plan. There's also a nurse's discount that I know some of my classmates use. I think as long as you're in healthcare, you can get that, but either way, use one of their discounts because they're available to us. I've gotten a lot of my classmates on it, and they also really love it. It's just fun, it's easy, and it takes out a lot of the stress of having to eat really repetitive meals. Like before I used HelloFresh, my meals were like pasta, mac and cheese, like really boring chicken, like maybe a taco here and there. Like it was nothing exciting at home, and now it's always good food. It's easy. It's like reasonably good for you, and you get to pick from like 30 meals every week, and you pick 3 that you'd like, and then there's 2 servings per each of those meals. And that for me lasts 2 to 3 servings just because it depends on like how much food they actually send you for that meal. But I absolutely love HelloFresh. I don't want to rant about it for too long. Another service or app that I love is Headspace. I also have the student discount for that, and it's $10 a year rather than I think $100 a year. Might be even more than that, but good discount. And they have meditations on there, which is the main thing I use it for. But they also have sleep stories to help you go to sleep and like calming music for sleeping. Their meditations can be anything from like specific skills that you're working on to managing anxiety to moments. They have like SOS meditation. So if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling frustrated, if you want to get focused for work, like whatever it may be, they have different themed ones, which I really like. And also they have a little tab there now called Move. So they have like little workout videos that you can do too. I haven't really dabbled in that though, but I should. Another thing on the topic of mental health is utilizing your school's counselor or therapist. I think pretty much most dental schools are attached to a larger university system, and all of those should have therapists or counselors available to their students. My dental school in particular has a therapist specifically for the dental students that's housed in the dental school, which I really appreciate. But if none of that is applicable to you and your dental school resources, I would recommend the BetterHelp app. I know a lot of people really love that because it's pretty flexible, and you can also kind of pick and choose to find a therapist that actually suits you and like you mesh with. Something for more of physical health, I would say I absolutely love my Apple Watch, or some people just use different types of fitness trackers, but for me, the Apple Watch is awesome. So many of my friends and classmates have them. It's fun to do little challenges with them, fitness challenges to see who's like getting more steps and moving more throughout the week. It keeps you motivated, and it syncs up really nicely with all my other Apple devices, which just makes my life easier, and it's good to have your life easier when dental school can get kind of crazy. Something else that I think is also helpful for your overall well-being, like physically and mentally, is getting up earlier, having a good sleep schedule, like being awake for more daylight hours and getting a lot done in the morning. Just I think really sets the tone nicely for your day because you got some tests done, you feel very accomplished, you feel like there's so much time ahead of you if you finish a lot of stuff by 10 a.m. or by noon. Rather than waking up at 9, you might not get your day started till 10:30. So if you can sign up for an early assist, like if I do the 8 a.m. assisting, I'm back by like 11 and I already feel like I accomplished so much. So waking up early, I think, is very underrated and something a lot of people, especially with these online classes, don't necessarily do as much anymore. And on the topic of sleep, I think stopping your work at a reasonable hour and getting a consistent amount of sleep is also really important and something that's probably easier to do than you realize. It might be hard if your sleep schedule is kind of funky right now, but once you can get yourself going to sleep at a reasonable time and waking up after 8 or 9 hours, then you're going to find yourself just naturally waking up at around 7:30 or whatever it may be, and you're going to be a lot happier and healthier and more focused when you do sit down to try to study. Something else that makes me very happy and refreshed and focused is time outside and going for long walks. A lot of my classmates and friends also kind of seconded this when I was asking for people's favorite things in dental school. It just really helps refresh you, refocus you, and give you a well-deserved break, but you're also doing something good for your body by like being outside and moving around. Last couple things I have on the topic of physical and mental health before we wrap up this episode. So I think it's really important to find some kind of community in your campus or town that you live at for dental school related to like a hobby or an interest that you have outside of dental school. They can still be dental friend, like people from the dental school, but when you're there, you should be doing or talking about something not related to school. So whether that's like a religious community like I do, Bible studies with the Christian Dental Association, or if it's like ski club, or if it's like you go running with these people every week, or you like to go to the farmer's market, or you guys like to go thrifting, like whatever it may be, but finding a community of people that have a similar interest or hobby to you that can help you disconnect from school and like have fun, I think is really important and something you should strive for in dental school. And something else kind of related to making the most of your surroundings is taking some time to explore a new part of your dental school's town or even one of the surrounding cities is a really great way to disconnect and to kind of boost your mood, do something different, get out of your comfort zone a little bit, get more excited about the place that you are because maybe you'll find a new favorite spot to go or a new place to eat or a new activity that you like to do. Kind of on the same topics of getting out and doing things would be making time for little weekend trips with your friends from dental school or friends from outside of dental school, and also visiting your home when you have the ability. I know it kind of depends how far you live from your dental school and the current situation of like travel restrictions and everything, but trying to go home when you can, at least over breaks, I think is a really, really great way to get yourself grounded again and focus on what's really important to you and kind of remind yourself of your core values and who you are as a person, and that can really help you calm down a little bit and refocus on why you're here and what you're trying to do. And one of the last things I wanted to talk about is taking a day off each week. I think it's so important to at least give yourself an afternoon off each week. Honestly, I think if you have a fairly flexible schedule still with online classes, it's feasible to do a full day, if not like 2 days or a day and a half or something. But taking time off of school is so important, whether you are, like I said, going home or spending time with your friends from dental school doing something not related to school, or even just spending time alone. If you're spending time alone at home, if you're out and about on a walk, in a hammock, kayaking, on a hike, going on a road trip with your friends, literally anything, but just some time where you're not doing something is going to make you feel so great. And setting those boundaries and being consistent with it, kind of not budging, like, okay, maybe I have 3 exams this week, but I'm going to plan ahead. That way I can still take my full day Saturday off because that's what I like to do. So I think just prioritizing yourself is so, so important in being your best version as a human, but also as a student, and showing up the best for everyone in your life. Like I said, friends, family, patients. So, and this was a little bit of a shorter episode, but I hope it gave you some good ideas of maybe new things to try out or re-inspired you to kind of refocus your perspective and maybe reground yourself with some activities or apps or practices that might make you a little bit happier and healthier in dental school. So I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and I will talk to you next week. We're actually going to have a guest next week. Her name is Fatima, and she is a dental student in Australia. This episode I recorded so long ago, and for some reason it hasn't been posted yet. So I'm about to post it next week, and I'm very excited. She's also a mom, so we talk about the mom life, the dental student life, and what dental school is like in Australia, kind of compared to my own experiences here. So I think you'll all find that episode to be very interesting, and I can't wait for you to hear it. So I will talk to you next Monday.